the Sunday night game, Chargers, Miami. Chargers beating Miami. Tua looking kinda sus. At least the first half stats, it turned around to look slightly less terrible later, but the first half stats were something like 3 for 15 or something.
25 yards. Yep.
Yeah. Yep. So something like that. Oh, I see. He ended with a spicy 10 for 28, 145 yards. Isn't bad on 10 completions. I'll be honest. 145 yards and a touchdown ain't bad for 10 completions. But this game, yeah, not super great. There's a news little bit out that the Dolphins were using propane heaters on the sidelines of LA because it was as cold as 55 degrees, whereas they have to go to, you're telling me 55. They got to go to Buffalo it's going to be snowing. Forecast calls for snow this Saturday, Sunday, whatever.
Oh, I bet.
And it's going to be in the 20s, and then they got to play New England, and it's going to be cold. I mean, I'm there. It's going to be below freezing probably that game. It'll at least 34 if they're lucky, and that's just those. I could see those being hard games if they're busting out the heaters for that. Tua has only played in, I think, 3 games where it's been under 50 degrees. There's some stat. There's a stat out there I saw.
How is that possible?
Played in because I don't know. I don't know how it's possible.
How is that possible?
I don't know how it's possible.
Maybe his travel games to New England and Buffalo were early in the season.
I'm not sure what it's like in college. I thought
they were playing Buffalo in Miami late in the season instead of early in the season.
Exactly. I think it was something like that. I'm not sure where that stat I found was, but
I'm sure it's true. It's just that is wonky, dude. That is just, especially in that division,
I know, and that just so that I could see that being. I mean, but even in this, it's not even getting that cold, and the Dolphins didn't have a great performance against a team that is not particularly amazing. I was surprised they didn't run better. That's part of the thing with the Chargers, that their run defense is kind of suspect. Kind of surprised. But they had what's that total? They had 82 yards. No, 90. They actually had more rushing yards than the Chargers, but they had 92 yards of rushing. I mean, like they do. I don't know. It just offensively, we're not getting anything going.
Oh, no, 100%. And I don't know how, because I guess the Chargers are supposed to be super banged up, but the Chargers secondary absolutely shut these guys down. And I don't really understand how it's possible, because they've been when you have Waddle and Tyreek, someone should be open, but they basically were playing they were just playing really good coverage. They were knocking down balls. And it was just, they were all over Tyreek, and Tua has had a bad game and he looked not super accurate. That kind of rolled into this first half. And most of those yards were on a bomb to Tyreek, I think, to start the second half. 60 yards of that is of his 140 on the game. He just that offense
was Tyreek recovered a fumble or something and took it for 60. Right. There's also, that's one of their scores was also some sort of
that was
recovering
the
a fumble
half,
for
I think. It was super weird play, but you said something about this a while ago, and some people have also pointed this out, but you had said that in some of these games in Miami, because of the whole stadium lighting thing, there had been 30-degree differences on the sidelines. And you had highlighted how on a 70-degree day in the shade, for the Miami bench, that could be 100 degrees in the sun on the,
that's what happened with the
Bills.
Don't you remember? You remember that video of Josh Allen when the Bills lose to the Dolphins and he's resting his head onto his shoulder like a baby.
Josh Allen's just been in a sauna for 3 hours
because he probably genuinely thought that Tua was his father in that moment. It's that sort of, it was just with that's the thing with
heat
the
stroke.
Heat. Yeah, I could see that, and then that's the.
But that was a lot of teams. A lot of teams were going in there, and that's what was happening. And you got to start to wonder. Wait a second, are the Dolphins imposters? We talked about this last week. They very well might be. We're going to see.
And their remaining schedule, they have Green Bay, which I'll call that I'll call that a freebie. I think it's a win anyway.
Is that in Green Bay?
Oh no, and it's at home. Yeah, and it's at home, so it's not in Green Bay. That's a good note. Whew. But they have And they also get to play the Jets at home, it looks like. So that's good. But they have that, Jets at home, but they play at New England, at Buffalo. And I mean, we'll see. We're recording tonight. We will see how the Patriots play. I'm worried about how they're going to play, but if the Patriots can get anything together, then I could see them at home against a sliding Dolphins team. I mean, I don't know, but yeah, that's enough.
Yeah,
I said the Patriots. I want to wash that out of my mind.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I'm surprised that the Chargers got a win. Got to give Justin Herbert just an ounce of credit there. We say he loses a lot. This was a big game against a good team in prime time. He looked
massive
good
for playoff implications as well. Yeah.
Got to save got to try to get that 7th seed there. And so, yeah, definitely big game. Justin Herbert delivers, and maybe he will get into the playoffs. We'll see.
Hey,
we will see. The Jets lose to the Bills 20-12. This was a bit of a slog of a game. There was a ton of points scored. I was driving home while this game was starting, and it was kind of a slog to get home. And I was like, I bet that's what the game looks like in Buffalo. Turn on the TV, and it's also kind of like snowing, raining. It's like a mix. It's cold. It's like 32 degrees. It's like right in the middle. It's kind of ugly. And yeah, so should we be worried about the Jets? They lose 20-12.
Well, yeah, I watched most of this game. It was on. We were watching it while decorating the Christmas tree. Not sponsored. And it was just Mike, like Mike White, just taking. You like that one? It was just Mike White was just taking some massive hits, and they were clean hits, and that's what the announcer was saying. That's what they were. They were clean textbook hits, right? There's nothing like that, but they were big hits, and he would get knocked down and be like, "There's time he only came out for a couple, and it wasn't head. This was like chest for some of these too. He was down, came back in for like after a couple of plays, and boom, picks up the 3rd and 10. It was a pretty neat sequence. He throws like a 20-yard pass completion, but he gets blown up for it and goes out for a couple of plays. Goes out for 2 plays. In fact, first, 2nd and 10. Then he comes in for 3rd and 10. Boom, gets the completion. It was just that I think he did have to get taken out at a point for longer because he got another massive hit and had to like walk off in pain if he was walking. I don't forget that part, but he just was taking a lot of hits. That's one piece with this game. I mean, I think that this was not a particularly dominant win by the Bills, and not that you'd really expect. The Jets won the last game. It's not like you'd expect them to really, blow the socks off the Jets, but it was like they were giving up. Josh Allen was taking a lot of pressure. I wish I had this ready. Maybe I'll let you talk in a second while I look this up. But I felt like the Jets defense doing a lot of pressure, which, just to go back to the Patriots, that Thursday night football game from a bit ago, the Patriots were getting no pressure on Josh Allen. They sacked him maybe once. I think they had one like stunt move or something that they got him on, but like the Patriots were getting no pressure. The Jets were getting a ton of pressure. I think Williams went out at a point this game on the defensive line for the Jets. I don't think he was a major injury, but I think it was a calf injury actually. But I'm not super worried for I am worried for the Jets, but it wasn't a terrible loss. This was a really dirty, snowy fundamentals sort of game. Mike White took a lot of hits that you hope, next week he won't take. Like they won't be in that situation. Bills have a good pass rush even without Von Miller. Yeah, that
was surprising. I got to shout out the Bills defensive line about. I mean, they were, like you said, it was good hits, safe hits, but I mean they were killing him, and I couldn't believe. There was the one pass where he was like kind of throwing up and over and he was extended, and they had like a linebacker blitz straight up to his like rib cage, and his body like went like around the defender. And he just like, fell down and it was like down on the ground and had to get kind of walked off. So, and I texted you, I said, this man has broken ribs. I mean, helmet straight to the rib cage. And then, like, I don't know, 30 minutes later, he's playing again. it's like gutsy plays from Mike White.
Yeah.
Not good enough, though. Really not good enough. If you had told me that Buffalo was going to score 20, I understand the weather, but I think I'd be hard pressed to bet against the Jets. You think that they can't get 24, 21 with Mike White electric Mike White.
Michael White.
So I don't know. I think that you would have wished to see a win here, especially because it was a gettable game. But should we be worried? I don't think so. I think we'll be okay.
I don't think too worried. Actually, one quick addendum, just to fact check myself. It was the Jets actually only got 3 sacks. It felt like more. I think it was because maybe it was in I think those 3 might have been like in the first half, like in a quarter or in a half. So I think it felt like more. That's one of the one thing you might be worried about is whatever Quinnen Williams' injury was, because he was 2 of their sacks. He's probably best player on the team. That sort of range of defensive tackle. And he had, I think it was a calf injury. They said, I think it's day to day. I don't think it's a massive thing. If it was something massive, I think we would know about it. But still, just interesting note. If that turns out to be a big injury, even something where it comes back in a couple weeks, even a couple weeks is a lot of time. In this end of season, games have a lot of playoff implications. So
yeah, when you're fighting for a wild card,
I think that yeah. If he's going to be back next week, and if he's at 95% next week, then yeah, I wouldn't be worried if you're the Jets. But